What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I just want to do a real quick film breakdown of Jaylen Warren's touchdown run against the Rams last week to start the fourth quarter. Really nice play and one that I think deserves being broken down. Really cool concept and excellent execution. Apologize for the inactivity over the past week. My son was born this past weekend, so I've just been kind of, trying to get him home, get everything situated with that. But now that I'm back home, got my laptop, my mic, and all that stuff, can get back to the grind. So just before we get started, hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff is greatly appreciated on my end. And let's jump into it. So the Steelers run game, off to a little bit of a slow start this season, but had their best performance of the year against the Rams. They were the number one team in the league in rushing success rate last week, well over 50%. Awesome performance. And if you guys have noticed, the Steelers are doing some different things on the offensive end, trying to get some of their concepts to be a little bit more effective, specifically outside zone. And they've kind of implemented a new way that they're running outside zone, and I kind of wanted to break this down to you, especially after they scored a touchdown on it last week. So this outside zone play is called Zorro. It's actually a Shanahan kind of concept or staple that he's ran for a really long time. In San Francisco, they've been incredibly effective with it. They dress it up in a lot of different ways. But, NFL teams, they still play, still concepts all the time. And this is something that's kind of widespread around the league right now. So wanted to go over this one. Like I said, you guys got to see, what the play looks like from all the different angles. But I'm going to kind of go over this one just kind of player by player and show you guys why it was so effective and kind of the purpose behind the play. So the Steelers are coming out in 11 personnel. The Rams are responding with their nickel package. They are in a 5-1 kind of penny front. Five-man services can cause some problems for outside zone, but, I mentioned this is a Shanahan play concept. They see the Rams, obviously, twice a year, being that they play in the same division. So this makes this play, makes a lot of sense to kind of put this one in the game plan. But we'll kind of start left to right. I kind of just want to go over the assignments here. Just real quick so that you guys kind of understand what the intent of the play is. Starts with Darnell Washington. He is going to be the player that's going to be responsible for kicking out this edge defender. Ideally, this guy's going to set a pretty hard edge on the side here. So if you can just create some displacement, stay attached, that is going to make the read easier for Jaylen Warren. And one of the things that they do is they're kind of using this surge motion here with Allen Robinson coming across. The Niners will run this from 21 personnel. They'll run this with a fullback. They pull their tight ends. I've even seen them pull Trent Williams on this play. But really what this does is it allows, with him coming across in motion, it allows Darnell Washington to be really aggressive on the edge defender because he's got this slot receiver coming over just in case this guy spikes inside. So it essentially gets a double team on the edge defender because in the NFL, you don't really want to live in the world of having tight ends block edge defenders one-on-one all the time because those guys are usually freak athletes. It's usually not an advantageous matchup for the offense. As far as the running back, outside zone, this is outside zone principles. So really for the running back, he's usually aiming point is right here towards the tight end. And then really you just read this gap from outside in. But the offensive line execution here is really what makes this thing go. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll kind of go through these kind of one by one just so that you guys can get a real appreciation for just how well this thing's blocked up. Yeah, so like I mentioned, outside zone blocking principles from the offensive line, nothing too crazy, but this is about as good as you can possibly block the play, okay? So Dan Moore, his aiming point, he's going to try to get to, the play side shoulder, but Samalo is going to be the uncovered offensive lineman here, and I kind of want you guys to just watch and see what he's supposed to do. Usually the uncovered offensive lineman has a read in the first three steps. He's got to decide if he's going to take the block over, knock it over, or climb to the second level. But Sam Malo actually does an excellent job, helping knock this guy over, and he's able to climb to the second level. Like the fluidity of it for an offensive lineman, it's just really, really pretty. You see between him and Dan Moore, they're able to just shove this guy completely out of the way. And even though they're not able to get to that play side, outside zone normally doesn't hit outside. Usually you see this kind of cutback up towards the field. And with Sam Allo reaching the play side linebacker, the whole point of this 5-1 front that the Rams are running is so that they can keep this linebacker clean. When you can't keep that linebacker clean, this front is pretty much useless, man, to be honest with you. But just an excellent job by Seumalo Moore working that combo. You see Seumalo climb to get that play side linebacker. But even then, the play side execution is excellent, but the backside execution is even better, honestly. You see Mason Cole with an excellent – he probably had his best game of the season for my money. He's going to be able to reach this kind of shaded nose and immediately turn him out. And this is just going to create an absolutely beautiful cutback lane for the back. You also see James Daniels. You know, he's able to kind of give Chooks a little bit of help, just a little stiff arm right there, and climb to get that nickel defender who's basically playing will linebacker. Obviously, that's a matchup that the Steelers are going to, be able to take pretty good advantage of. And you'll even notice on the outside, they get a pretty good block here. At least Deontay Johnson getting in the way enough of this safety kind of coming down. So I mentioned the play call. It's called Zorro from the Shanahan playbook, but they tag this as cat, like Zorro cat, whenever they're telling basically the receiver who's in a condensed split to grab the safety instead of grabbing the cornerback. Usually you see Allen Robinson kind of bump this edge defender over. Honestly, it's a really good block by Darnell Washington. But after he bumps that guy over, they will work that towards the cornerback. So you really just leaving that dude unblocked. And honestly, Akello is the corner out there. He's not really too involved on the play anyway. But just excellent blocking here. You got to give credit to Jaylen Warren for being able to hit the hole. Of course, you kind of read this. Once that edge defender is still on the outside shoulder of Washington, he knows, that he needs to start working gaps in. You see the big kick out on the 3-tech defensive end, and then he's, hits this hole with speed, one cut, and go. No hesitation, just making sure you hit this at full speed. But awesome, man, just the blocking aspect of it is just beautiful. Anytime you get a 13-yard run in the NFL with your running back going basically untouched, man, it's just pretty football, pretty execution. One of my favorite plays from Sunday. So definitely something I think the Steelers are going to continue to run. It's been pretty successful for them. They've struggled outside zone early in the season. Need to get this run game going. Sunday was a good start. We'll see if they can kind of continue that momentum against the Jaguars on Sunday. So I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Make sure you like the video, of course, on your way out. Drop me a comment on what you guys thought of the game. I'm sorry I wasn't around for the pregame, postgame aspect of it. But we're grounded. We're back to the normal routine now. So if there's something else that you guys want to see a video on before Sunday, let me know in the comments, and I will be sure to try to get y'all something else before we kick off on Sunday. So I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace and love.